judges are going to be more hesitant to grant these types of restraining orders because they may say, hey, is this really about keeping my ex away, or is this about getting full and complete custody of the kids?
All right, moving on to another restraining order. So David Bedore and his ex Leslie Bedore have each filed restraining orders against one another amid their very contentious divorce. So Leslie filed a temporary protective order against David on Friday, June 9th. And she alleged that he was physically abusive towards her, their children, their pets. And then she later went on to say that they share a 2-year-old daughter, and that she claims in her documents that he destroyed her property and he threatened her. So David has not publicly addressed her claims, but he filed his own protective order on behalf of himself and their daughter, saying that, and he requested in his motion that the court denies Leslie and instead grant his request. And he claimed that her petition was purely retaliatory after he filed for divorce, which he asked for legal and physical custody of the toddler. So where will a judge side in this case, since both of them are filing pretty much the same thing?
Yeah, lots of accusations going back and forth. And this is why they pay the judges the big bucks. You know, he or she's going to have to decide who's telling the truth and who's not. And this is probably one of the nastiest divorces we've covered here on Legally Us. I mean, from my hometown of Orange County, you know, these two had to actually exchange the kids at the Laguna Beach police station. I mean, that's how bad things are. So apparently law enforcement has seen some of this improper behavior, but it's going to be a tough one because obviously the divorce has gotten nasty. There's all sorts of accusations which may or may not be true, and a judge is going to have to sort through all this.
Yeah. So since they are both asking for the TROs, will one eventually be granted since they both do want the same thing?
Potentially one could be granted or none or even both. I mean, the problem with both is whenever you're dealing with kids and custody issues, judges are going to be more hesitant to grant these types of restraining orders because they may say, hey, is this really about keeping my ex away, or is this about getting full and complete custody of the kids?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and how does the judge decide in this case who the daughter then stays with? Because they both have it seems like damning accusations against one another.
Yeah, it could be the daughter stays with mom, stays with dad, or even a relative if it gets really bad. You know, that's when the kid is taken away from both parents because the accusations are so serious. And if there's violence, that puts the kids at risk as well. So this is one of those questions of fact that really, you know, a judge needs to decide, hey, who's telling the truth and who's not. It's really a credibility determination. Now, if you have witnesses, if you have surveillance, you have evidence and those types of things, that may help in these types of situations.
All right, moving over to another mess of a divorce that has to do with credibility as well. So we've talked about this one, Kroy-Biermann and Kim Zolciak. So Kroy believes that his 4 minor children need protection from quote unquote abusive Kim Zolciak, and he is now asking the court to provide them with a legal guardian. So he filed new court documents, and in it he claims that Kim has been abusive toward him with little concern if the children are present. He further states that he fears his estranged wife, who is set to make a cameo on The Real Housewives of Atlanta later this season, will use the show to discuss her divorce and expose the children to behavior that is not beneficial for their mental health and well-being. As a result, Kroy officially requested the court appoint a guardian ad litem for the children and to represent their best interests amid their parents' ongoing custody battle. She released a statement basically saying that this is not true and that, he is putting their children's mental health at risk by talking about this. This also comes as Kroy hasn't paid anything in months to BMW because he leased a 2020 Rolls Royce, and he said that he is about thousands and thousands of dollars in lease money that he has not paid for. So will a judge grant this request, and what exactly is a guardian ad litem?
Yeah, a guardian ad litem is a guardian for a specific purpose, and in this case, to represent the interest of the kids in the family law case. Now, again, a lot of accusations going back and forth. Kroy's asking for a mental health evaluation for Kim. I'm saying she has issues, and we all know that both of them seem to have some financial issues as well. So I could see a judge potentially granting this request because sometimes you want an independent monitor, a third party, someone who has the best interest of the child to make sure that they're being taken care of in this mess. Right.
So this is just somebody that kind of represents the kids, not staying with them, just represents the kids.
Yeah, it just represents their interest in court. So it can be everything from an attorney, they call it minors counsel. So if they need a medical issue or there's a school issue, I mean, he or she can represent the children. outside of court as well, but it's essentially for the purpose of the proceeding, because really that's really what the standard is, right? It's the best interest of the child. That's what the judge is supposed to make his or her decision based on. So if you have someone, especially when you're dealing with minor children that may not be able to articulate or speak on their own behalf, if you have that adult guardian, someone advocating for them, that tends to be best.
Right. And so can Kroy also request maybe a gag order to be put in place that she does not discuss any of their divorce on the show?
Kroy can, and sometimes judges do grant that because they'll say, you know what, this is not in the best interest of the child for the parents to be discussing the case outside the courtroom. Of course, in the courtroom, anything goes and you can make your arguments, but usually the cases need to be decided based on the law and the evidence in the case in court, not what's said publicly. So a judge may grant that type of request.
And clearly they're having some big financial issues. Like we said, he is, in back payments on his car. They're living in this home that may have gone in foreclosure. What are you surprised that the house isn't put on the market yet and that they're still living together under these circumstances?
Yeah, I'm surprised. Obviously, I don't know their financial condition, but if you look at the reports of gambling issues and all this debt that's being reported, I think it's just a matter of time before the house gets foreclosed on if they can't get caught up or, use the redemption remedy that you can to sort of save your house before it goes into foreclosure.
For more news content and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.